In the Murray game?
I felt we started slow. I wasn't particularly happy with our Monday and Tuesday practice. We weren't gelling. I don't think we were concentrating. We felt that loss more than I would have liked, and I put a great deal of emphasis on it, and I think they felt that. But then we came into Wednesday and Thursday, and then things got a little better. We started concentrating much more. The intensity picked up, and I think they responded, and I was real pleased with that. And Friday we went out and they concentrated even more so I think they ended up pretty well. But early on, it was a little bit of a struggle for us to get going.
Offensively, coming into the ball game, you sure went with the shotgun a lot more than you did a week ago. And was that because of Murray's pass rush? You rolled out a lot as well.
Well, you know, history shows us that Murray was going to be a blitz football team, and we felt that if they're going to blitz inside, we want to attack the perimeter. Let's get away from the line of scrimmage with the shotgun. Let's roll out. Let's wear them down a little bit and make them hustle to the football. They didn't blitz as much as we thought they would, but yet I think us scrambling and us making what we call our scat protection forced them to say we can't blitz as often.
And what concerned you about Murray? Obviously, they came off a 52-50 overtime loss at Western Kentucky. Explosive, obviously. Swinton had to worry you on the outside. Well,
you know, the first thing is I think some of their personnel. You mentioned him, and he's a fine player and can make some big plays on you. And, you know, they showed against Western Kentucky that they could come back with big plays. Those two tailbacks, obviously, were also good football players. So they concerned me from a personnel standpoint. They had a big offensive line that I thought our defense responded very well to. From a defensive standpoint, they had a free safety that I think is a pretty good football player that could cover some ground, and their inside linebacker is also a fine football player. But those were concerns more from a personnel standpoint than anything.
All right, let's go to the highlights at McAndrew yesterday. Again, a crowd of 8,000 on hand, and Southern lost the toss. Murray deferred and elected to kick the ball off to you guys, and Co Bonner get you started off very well.
Well, he sure did. I thought Co did what we asked him to do. You know, he's just been responsive, and you see he takes the ball to the 50-yard line, and that's a big plus from a momentum standpoint, just starting the ball game.
It always helps to start in their territory. Although you didn't get much done offensively on the first series, Nobertowitz here snuffed up at the line.
Well, I think you're trying to find out what their defense is going to do. You see us do it again. We're stretching the play out a little bit, and we're getting stuck a little bit, but that's okay.
Here's the rollout and the shotgun. He goes to Reggie. He was open. He just underthrew him.
Poor coaching decision. What I made him do is roll it to his left. The quarterback should roll it to his right, and it affected his throw, so that was more on us than Kent.
This is Murray State's all-conference tailback, Anthony Downs, who only played the first quarter and then went out with an injury. That was a big part of the ball game.
No question. I think our defense stayed after him. They were punishing him, and I think that's what wore him down.
Here's a third down play to Reginald Swinton, and he's more dangerous after he catches the football.
Yeah, we know he can run, and again, we tried to contain him right there. As you could see, he took off. We had to take some angles. Our defense hustled, but it was a big play by them. Got it down to the 31. Then on 1st and 10, Warfield will make a real nice catch on the play, and Freddie was there to get him out of bounds at the 16. Well, they can open up that offense, and they did. And again, we just had to horn up and get tougher as they were going in. Here's a great stick by Sam Wilkerson to stop their tailback Smith. Then they go. Lloyd will have to scramble and get sacked on the play. They took points off the board once, had a 1st and goal at the 4, and were forced to settle for this Rob Hart field goal. Well, our defense settled in, and that's what you need to do in that area. You know, the big plays can hurt you in the middle of the field, but the key is, can you score? Our defense responded. So it's 3-0, heading into the second quarter now, or rather later on in the first quarter, and here's a busted play, turns into a touchdown that gets called back. Well, again, the busted play was the snap that went over his head, and that's what you're always worried about, the gun. Obviously, we wanted to score here. I would have sure liked to see if he pushed off or not. Yeah, me too. It's 6-0 now. Murray State with a football late in the second quarter. They've added another field goal, and Lloyd will go back to pass and just overshoots his man, and Freddie Taylor, playing center field, makes the pick. Big play for us. You know, Freddie does it defensively and responded to the overthrow, and we get the ball at the plus 32. Saluki ball at the 32-yard line. On 1st down, Carlton Carpenter will take a swing pass from Scorney and do what he does well, run with a football. Well, we call that our little screen, Mike. It's what we call a score play, and he pushed it up to the 19-yard line or 20, and that was a big play for us. The drive stalled. Bring on Matt Simonton, 43-yarder, his first attempt of the year, right down central. We needed it. That made it a 6-3 score, and that was the score at halftime. Neither team could muster much offense in the first half, and
The stats showed in the first half, Nobertowitz, 5 carries, 11 yards. Carlton, 6 carries for 14 yards. And as a team, I know you don't like those totals.
No, not at all. But I think we're trying to keep some things in mind, what we want to do so we can be in the ball game. Offensively, you know, I think the key is allow your defense to win. And so I'm not a statistics guy. I mentioned that quite a bit to our football team. Obviously, you'd like to see him better than that, however.
Passing the ball, Kent Scorney was 6 out of 13 for 58 yards. He will light it up in the second half for over 250 more yards. In receiving, Carlton Carpenter had a couple. Reggie Fowler, Brian Nobertowitz, and Cornell Craig all had one. And Cornell's going to have an outstanding second half for you.
Well, we try to move the football around. We like to see different people catch it, and that's obvious here. And then Cornell really responded with the big plays.
All right, Murray leads it at half by a 6-3 score. You don't want to leave the show because you didn't want to leave the game yesterday. Southern comes back with a big one. We'll check the second. As Coach Q mentioned right before the break, stats don't tell the whole story. Murray State had well over 200 yards of total offense. The Salukis had only 69, yet it was a 6-3 ball game. Your team only trailed by 3. What kind of things did you say to the ball club in the locker room?
That I thought our defense had played well. We're in a football game. That's what we wanted to do going in at halftime. That they responded, and we felt we were okay. We felt that we looked at our football team compared to theirs, and that we weren't getting worn down as quick as they were, and we were pretty positive at half.
The big thing at halftime is making adjustments, both offensively and defensively, and both teams try to do that. What did you see, or what did your coaches see in the first half that needed either some fine-tuning or some changes?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, we said that we had to run a pitch play outside, and we tried to do that early with an underneath handoff. It wasn't effective. So we just said we're going to get it off the ball, change the formation a little bit off the line of scrimmage, and we got some big plays off it. We wanted to open up the offense a little bit and go 4 wide receivers and throw underneath more. Just spread them out because we were having some trouble with our counter plays. Defensively, I think the staff just felt they had to continue to get after them, not allow a big play, and I think Dave and the defense did a great job of that.
Okay, it's 6-3 Murray State. Let's check out the highlights from the second half, and the first thing you're going to see is the guy you recruited from Youngstown, Terry Taylor, and talk a little bit about your relationship with TT.
TT and I are pretty close. You know, he played me a compliment and said I was like an older brother to him, and I said afterwards, I've always felt he was my son. Terry and I go back quite a ways, obviously, but when he came here, he was young and real ripe, and I'm proud to see him today with 2 lovely children and a beautiful wife, and he loves this place, and I'm so happy for him.
And it's his second trip back since the beginning of the year. You got him to come back earlier, too.
Yeah, Terry will do that for us, and I think he'll be back again, and he kind of got pretty much involved yesterday. I was kidding him. I said, you still want to coach, don't you? And he chuckled.
That's Terry Taylor, a former first-round draft choice of the Seattle Seahawks and a key member of the 1AA National Championship team in 1983. Here's Murray State starting off the second half, and you guys came out a little bit flat defensively, and they were able to stick it to you and get 2 quick scores.
Yeah, our defense, again, was getting after them. We had a couple missed tackles. They stretched this play out. Again, we'll wrap them up with too much yardage early.
That's Matt Davis, and now you're going to see 2 big holes on the right side for Davis to run through, and this will get him right to the 50-yard line. That was a gain of about 17. He'll come back with the exact same play again where he'll cut it back to the right side and gain some more.
Well, I'm looking to see if our will linebacker shows up, and he got cut, as you could see. Unfortunately, if he's not in the hole, that play will cut back, and it's tough to get a squeeze from our defensive tackle.
Now, a second down play, and he's going to go in the air. The quarterback, I'm sure, never saw this pass completed because he had a big rush, but Warfield makes a nice play. Just got by Freddie for the touchdown.
That's a big play by them. I want to give them full credit with the blitz, and they did a nice job, and Freddie hustled to the ball.
That made it 13-3. You guys had to punt the ball. Murray comes back on offense, 2nd and 10. And Warfield again from Lloyd. You're right there on him. Just good pitch and catch there.
Yeah, I think the big thing is you don't want to break contain, and he did, and that allowed him to throw the ball more comfortably.
Lloyd goes up top again, and Warfield again gets outside, beats Gutierrez on the outside. He'll go to the air again, and this one almost intercepted by Gutierrez.
Yeah, and I thought Danny could have played the ball. You know, he came up with a big play later on. He was ready to crush receiver, but he may have come up with an interception if he would have focused on the ball.
And here's Swinton. That's just a great athletic play.
No question. It's one-on-one. Gene Baptiste, I think, did a great job. They were going to test Gene, and I think he responded very well. I was tickled the way he played.
Now, here we are. We'll go now to the 4th quarter. It's 20-3 Murray. They are forced to punt at your 41-yard line, and this was probably the worst thing that could have happened in the ballgame. It goes all the way down to the 4-yard line, so with 14 and a half minutes to go in the ballgame, you have to start at your own 4, down by 17 points.
Yeah, you say, gee whiz, but we always tell our offense, you got to come away with 2 first downs down here. If we do that, we'll be fine. And Coach takes off what we call 44 power, and makes a pretty good game.
And here's a great play by Cornell. Craig tips the ball to himself and ends up with a huge gain.
Tremendous concentration. I'm really happy for Cornell. I'm telling you, he worked real hard this week, and he wants to be a good football player.
61 yards on the reception. First down. Now Cole will get you 5 more on the outside.
Well, that was the adjustment we talked about. We said we got to toss the ball rather than underneath handoff, and he took off for 6.
Cole will take the pitch, go to the right side, and it looked like Brandon Frick kind of held him up that time a little bit if he could have cut it back earlier.
Brandon had to make a choice. We were going to kick out and take it downhill, and it just didn't happen.
And there you saw Brian Nobertowitz gets the first down, but he was moving before the snap, so it's going to come back. Now it sets up a 3rd and 8, and this time this play worked all second half, the underneath throw to Brian.
Now we call it our angle route, and I don't know if they were prepared for it, and Nobertowitz is just tough with the football in his hand.
That got you 11. Now he'll find Kent will scramble to the right, just get by the defensive end, and get you down to the 2-yard line.
Well, yeah, and I think he just saw some things opening up underneath and showed some poise and responded very well.
And here is the first touchdown of the season for the Salukis. Nobertowitz goes in untouched, and it's kind of fitting since he's been the main ball carrier for the first 2 games that he gets the first one.
Yeah, and that was a little trap play for us, and we just put it in this week, and it was very successful.
20-10 now the score. Murray 1st and 10 at their own 23. This is their tailback, and he gets maybe a yard.
Well, again, the defense starting to play hard, and I think they did all day.
This will be Burstein. Freddie makes hits, and then look at 6, 7 guys around the football. We're in the 4th quarter, and you're getting helmets to the ball.
Yeah, they were gang tackling, and that's what I liked. And again, you just see some pressure here. Real nice play by Freddie. Again, you know, we're on the ball. Just a great athletic play by number 16.
But they called it a no catch. They said it hit the ground. They had to punt. You get the ball at the 42-yard line, 1st and 10. And here's big Brian Nobertowitz keeping his balance, getting you 9.
Same play that we scored on. We were proud of that play.
2nd down and 1. Go back to Brian. He'll get 3 more yards for the first down. And you're moving the chains, and you're not taking all that much time off the clock. You're conserving some clock, and Brian will get you 3 more.
Well, you know, we told our offensive line in the 3rd quarter, if you're going to win a football game, they've got to respond. And I thought they did, protection-wise, and they kept doing some things on the ground, and the offensive line did a nice job for our 4th quarter drive.
And Nobertowitz will punish people once he catches the ball going full speed.
He likes to. He enjoys it.
Here's a pass to Reggie Fowler. Nice angle cut on the post pattern. Whipped down at the 10-yard line. And now you go to Cole Bonner on your pitch play, and he can smell the end zone.
Yeah, it really was sweet, and he felt it, and you could see him just open up here, and he was going to push it in.
He exploded in the end zone. That makes it a 20-17 score. And all of a sudden, you're right back in the ball game. Coe was pretty happy about getting in the end zone.
Well, the thing I like is he did what we talk about, doing it with class. He scored that touchdown, handed the ref the ball, and I think that's what really makes football special.
Luther Claxton will make a big special team play for you here and just knock this guy on his can.
I can't tell you how important I think that tackle was. I think it showed our defense, hey, we're in this thing, and he was excited, and it was as fine a hit as I've seen in a while.
Wilbert Smith will take the ball. This is the guy who got sick close to the end of the 2nd quarter, was not able to go full boat in the 3rd and 4th, but he does pick up 6 here, so your defense puts itself in a little bit of a position on 2nd and 4.
But they were hustling to the ball, and they weren't, they were just fighting, and they were scrambling, and I saw Greg just flatten to the ball. Those are things they have to do.
And here's the pass that Dan Johnson wants back.
No question. We'll take that, but he sure did want that back.
Yes, he did. So they had to punt the football. You get it back on your 44-yard line. 2:47 left to go in the ball game, and this drive starts out horribly. Coe will lose 2 on that play, and then you hit Reggie on the quick slant pattern, but you had a guy downfield, so all of a sudden you're starting 2nd down and 18.
Well, I'm anxious to see that play a little bit closely because we felt it's a screen pass, Mike. Our guys are supposed to be downfield with it. I was on the refs a little bit, probably got carried away, but gee whiz, that took some momentum away.
2nd and 19, incomplete pass. 3rd and 19, and watch the catch again by Craig, just getting the 1 foot down for the first down.
Well, you know, if Murray State said 3 and 19, they'd feel pretty good, but what a great play by those 2 young men.
Now it's 1st and 10, and again, the underneath pass to Nobertowitz, and this just works like a charm.
Well, he makes a miss, and that's what Brian's got to do, and like you mentioned earlier, he'll punish it.
And now this pass intended for Reggie Fowler, not open, and Kent Scorney just noticed Cornell getting open, and what a great catch.
Well, you know, he says it was intended for Reggie. I think it's a route that we say you can probably clear on the outside. I think what Kent was saying, he was looking for Reggie, but he saw, obviously, Cornell get the long one.
And that's a very happy team, and this was the key point of the ballgame right here.
I think so, because what happened is it forced Murray to have to go down and score 6, and that 1 point was real important. And, you know, Skink, he should be proud. He's a tough football player, and he represents some style that I like.
So that puts you up 24-20. It's never over till it's over, is it, though? And here comes Murray back, and you were playing contain here. Smith catches it, but he's not going anywhere.
No, you know, Dave and the defense, Mike and Ron, we're going to keep the ball in front of them, and that's what you have to do in that situation.
Lloyd back to pass again. He'll go over the middle, but again, it's over the middle, so the clock has to keep running. They were out of timeouts. As long as you could keep them in the middle, you felt pretty good.
Yeah, I sure did. And well, key for us, I think, was this call by them. They ran a draw play, ate up some more clock, and gee whiz, we were happy to see it. And it was, it all fell in place. And then a great play by Danny here, taking it back, and you know, we iced it, and we ran our favorite play and coming up here.
And what favorite play would that be?
Hey, save it.
Take a knee, baby,
That's
because
right.
that's what happened on the next play, and the defense was excited. Kent took a 2-yard loss, and nobody cared because the ball game was over, and the comeback was complete. 21 fourth-quarter points, the last coming with 1:33 to go. And here are the final stats. Brian Obertowitz, 11 for 34. Cole Bonner came on very nicely in the second half in both the running and the receiving game for you.
Right, no question. Did a very good job.
Passing the football, Kent Scornia with a great afternoon. 19 out of 30 for 323 yards and a touchdown, and he really mastered that ball club in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he did, and that's really what we were hoping he would do. And like I said, he's a tremendous competitor, a very intelligent football player, knows our offense, and but it has taken him some time to get on track, and he did in that fourth quarter.
Receiving the football, Carlton Carpenter had 2 for 24, Fowler 3 for 34, and Obertowitz 5 for 58, and a big, big game from Cornell Craig.
Yeah, it really was, and like I said, we spread the football around. I'm glad Carlton caught some because he responded, and Reggie had a big catch on the 10-yard line, so that's what you have to do, and obviously the big catches by Cornell.
And defensively, Wilkerson led the way with 12 tackles, Taylor had 10, Hallahan 8, and Gutierrez with a big interception at the end. A great game for the Salukis. When Jan and I come back, we'll talk about Indiana State, next week's opponent, right after this. Well, the Salukis won it 24-20. It's now on to Indiana State, and you start the conference season.
Yeah, we sure do, and that's exciting. Obviously, it's on the road against Indiana State, and I've always respected Dennis Rates and his staff, and I think we'll have to be amply prepared.
They are a very good defensive ball club. They lost big to North Texas State, a 1A opponent, but in their first 2 ball games, didn't give up very many points.
No, and that's representative of what he does. Dennis is a former defensive coordinator, and you know, that's why he wants to win football games, much like we're trying to establish.
All right, the Salukis are now 1-1 on the season after yesterday's huge 24-20 victory. They'll play at Indiana State next Saturday night. Ball game is at 6:30. If you can't get to Terre Haute, you can be sure to catch all the highlights next Sunday right here on Inside Saluki Football. For Coach Corliss, I'm Mike Trude. Thank you for watching. We hope you watch all season long. Until next